knowing what kind of cases they had previously or have ongoing. Probe42 gathers all the information. This is from 700 sources and we put it all up in one platform. Hi, I'm Govind Satish. I work with Probe Information Services. I work in the product team and I specifically kind of work in the legal product department. It's crucial to understand a company's legal background. Having access to a company's ongoing legal information can be very useful to make decisions. Now let's assume you want to get into a partnership or some kind of investment with this company. Knowing what kind of cases they had previously or have ongoing makes the difference. For example, if you have, say, a company that is a vendor and they have an ongoing insolvency case, you must take into consideration that this may affect its ability to repay you, or it's maybe, say, financially unstable. This could cause some supply chain disruptions and affect your business relationship. I think every business has to prioritize what kind of legal information their partners or investors or anybody else does have. I would say so because the legal industry presents a wide variety of issues. This could range from taxation issues to government license disputes, to money recovery disputes, to criminal investigations. So for certain, before you get into a business relationship or some kind of investment, this information, having it handy, can really make a difference. In our country, we have over 700 courts. Okay. This is including the Supreme Court, High Court, various tribunals and the district court. Now, a lot of them maintain their own websites. Gathering this information from the website can be very time consuming and also costly affair. We at Pro collect this information from all the 700 plus sources and put it in one easy to get spot. So the complexity is that the legal industry sort of uses a lot of terms that are very specific to the legal fraternity. Even after, say, you get the list of cases, you still have to spend a lot of time or get somebody else to help you to figure out what the case is actually about. You have certain things like legislations and acts and sections, and for a layman without somebody who's not well versed with the law, it could be quite challenging to figure out exactly what issue is the company facing. So typically business would have to hire a team of researchers who would then spend time looking or making up a list of cases against the companies. Then they would basically do a diligence, go into these cases, what they mean, how they affect the operations, affect the business, what is their ability to repay, and then make the sense of that whole and present that information to you. It could be a very challenging task because it could take researchers an immense amount of time and resources, maybe days, weeks, depending on the number of litigations a company may have. Some of our larger corporations have thousands of litigations. Most companies who are not well equipped to do the diligence may skip the diligence part because having access to that information is not easy. Like I said, it could cost time and money. So maybe let's say a lot of the small, medium industry segments may choose not to do a diligence with their partners or investors or other business associates before they get into a transaction. Firstly, Probe42 gathers all the information. This is from 700 sources and we put it all up in one platform. We split it into 4 sections. The first section that we do is file against the company, or if it's a case, filed by the company. We also then further categorize this to say if this is a pending case or if it's a disposed case. We also put information out when the case was last heard and when the order against the company or for the company was made available. Now all of these orders and these dates are accessible on the platform. So now you have information about the cases and a lot about what is happening in each case. So this is very important because in India, the unique thing is there are a lot of companies with similar names. So what we actually do is the engineering team and subject matter experts have set up a process where we go through each case to figure out if that case actually belongs to the company or not. We do our own set of intelligence verification, and we publish this data only if we are certain that the company and the case belong. Like we talked about earlier, once you access the list of cases on the platform, you may then run into sections, acts, and a lot of legalists. For a lay person to understand exactly what this means is very difficult. So what we did is, we worked on some proprietary technology that kind of fits this case into some buckets. So this bucket could be a criminal case, it could be a civil case, a taxation case, arbitration, insolvency, a check bounce case. So we do that bucketing and sorting. And so when it comes onto the platform, the cases are labeled with which kind of bucket it is. We also, what we do is, along with the bucketing, we also kind of tell or try to tell the user what kind of severity that bucket is. Like how important is that case. So we will see that in insolvency cases of utmost severity, so we label it that way. Whereas we see that a civil case is something that a company may have ongoing through their day-to-day operations. So we don't label it as severe as the insolvency case. Let's assume you are appointing a new vendor. Before you start working with this vendor, you might want to do a background verification. What kind of cases do they have? Now you get into that and you realize that okay, this vendor might have a criminal investigation against it, or it might have an insolvency proceeding against it. What you can find on the platform is that if these investigations are currently ongoing, who has sort of initiated these investigations or the proceeding, if it's over, was the company at fault, or what kind of fault was the company involved in. Basis this, you can definitely make a much better choice. So we have a team. This team goes through each case, verifies certain details like who has filed the case, are there any other indicators from the data that we get. We cross-verify this with the information that is available about the company on the platform, and if it matches, we then pass the case. Once this is passed, the team would then fetch the latest details of the case, like what is the latest date of this case and what is the latest status. So we have a team. This team goes through each case, verifies certain details like who has filed the case, are there any other indicators from the data that we get. We cross-verify this with the information that is available about the company on the platform, and if it matches, we then pass the case. Once this is passed, the team would then fetch the latest details of the case, like what is the latest date of this case and what is the latest status. So there are a lot of red flags. This is sort of industry specific, but if we are to talk about a banking industry, definitely an insolvency case or a loan recovery case become very huge red flags for any investor or for from a banking perspective. Once you probe a company and you get its list of cases, it's actually very easy to verify what's going on for that company. So you navigate to the section, you first check cases filed against the company, you will check the pending cases, see how many cases there are, see what kind of cases they are. You move from there to the disposed cases and you go through when these cases were disposed, and through the use of our severity bar and the labels that we mentioned, you can quickly sort of get an idea of how bad this company is at risk from legal cases. Once this is done, you can also go and verify what kind of claims has this company made against other people. And it's the same process. You go through the pending cases, the disposed cases, and see what severity those cases represent. So using Probe, our turnaround time is around 4 hours. As soon as you hit the Probe button, within that turnaround time, we provide you with the latest, relevant, and most important cases against the company. So this is a far improvement or difference from if you were to do this on your own, which would involve manually cross-checking various websites, which could be time-consuming up to about say weeks, or at least a couple of days. Earlier, businesses to do a due diligence would definitely have to spend time and money. hire a team of researchers to do this for you and create a report. Today, it is all available on Probe, and with our continuous journey towards making that information simpler and more understandable, you can quickly figure out the risks involved against your company. You can use our severity bar, you can use our categories, which bucket the cases into what type it is, and you also get the information on what is the latest pending case and what was the last case that was disposed against you, or even what kind of cases have you claimed against other people.